Do you know what big pot blanching is? Because I didn't. Until I started trying to make a tasting menu at home. And now I have all these recipes that are telling me to use this big pot of water for these vegetables. So I wanted to see if big pot blanching actually changes the vegetables enough to matter. So what is big pot blanching? It's basically cooking vegetables in a large volume of aggressively boiling salted water, just long enough to set their color and structure, then rapidly cooling them in an ice bath, before finishing them in another way. It sounds simple, but it completely changes how the vegetables cook. But what is big pot blanching actually doing? Big pot blanching works by using a large volume of boiling water to rapidly transfer heat into the vegetables. That quick burst of heat helps preserve texture and the color before the vegetables have time to slowly overcook and turn dull. The theory makes sense, but are these differences actually noticeable? So for the first test, I compared a smaller pot against a larger pot using the same amount of beans. The idea was that the larger volume of water should recover heat more consistently once the vegetables are added. And you could see that the small pot boil does die, but my big pot was kind of struggling to come back up to a boil as well. We have our big pot and our small pot green bean. They're pretty dang similar. I don't know if you can really see. The big pot might be just a kiss more of like a deep green, but I think the biggest change is the texture. And if we take a look at the texture of our big pot blanched, it's got like a little bit of a snap to it still. With our small pot blanched, we've kind of gone into the mushy where we don't really have that snap. Big pot blanching isn't really supposed to finish the vegetables. It's really supposed to prepare them for a final cook. So for the next test, I sauteed one batch of green beans raw and another batch after blanching them first. The raw green beans took almost double the time. And this is where big pot blanching started to make a lot more sense to me. The raw beans ended up much paler, while the blanched beans kept their bright green color all the way through cooking. The blanched beans did lose a little bit of their snap, but the raw beans were also softer and a lot floppier overall, which made blanching feel less like pre-cooking the vegetables and more like controlling how they are finished. But I think the clearest difference showed up when I tested parsley oil. So I made two parsley oils, one with blanched parsley and one with raw parsley. Because parsley oil is almost entirely about preserving that green chlorophyll color. And once they were side by side, the differences were pretty obvious. The blanched parsley produced a much brighter, more vibrant green, and while the unblanched version kind of had that more darker, duller green to it, which made the whole point of big pot blanching click for me a little bit more. With the unblanched though, you do get a very like raw taste. Like with the blanched, it's like a clean, straight parsley. It's not really about dramatically changing the vegetables. It's more about preserving color, texture, and control before they slowly fade during cooking. The difference wasn't dramatic, but I think building a tasting menu at home is slowly teaching me that good cooking usually comes from small details like this.